Hello, my dear ones. I hope you're all doing well. This is almost the end of October already. It's like, what? Whoa! I'm trying to get these, at least the Frugivore book done by Christmas or the first of the year. Now, Pat's coming down to do a lot of filming in December, so we'll see how that rocks. And I hope you got a chance to look at the video, 4.5 hours worth of video there on iris readings. I'm going to do another one for level 1 and 2, and I want to recap and go over what you've learned in level 1 and level 2, and how, where are you? Where are you stuck? So I'm going to recap that whole understanding. Both physics and chemistry, both. I want to kind of bring this whole thing into you so you can make sure you get an overview of the simplicity of that. Then I want to do a lymphatic video. I know we've done so many of them, but one lady's fighting a group that wants to do chemo so bad on her, keeps lying to her like crazy that this is, without this, you're going to die. Without chemo, you're going to die. So I want these guys to view this, and if you want to talk to me, you come aboard. I want to know why you think you have the right to put a chemical in any human at a 2 or below pH. Where's your consciousness? Where's the studies that prove it that are not lied and see? There's no studies. There's no study that can show you that a 2 pH acid does nothing more than destroy cells. It doesn't clean you. It doesn't anything. It destroys cells. So putting an acid in the human body at that level is freaky. And just because the body has some alkalotic areas, just insanely stupid. So I want to do another one on the lymph system a little bit. So if you needed somebody to view the lymph system, but I thought I'd done so many of them, but we're trying to get some of the old videos from YouTube. I know YouTube shut me down a couple times before. And first time, I think they confiscated all the videos or something. There was like a couple hundred of them or something up there. That's too bad, to someone to steal your stuff like that. But that's the world you live in, Master Jack. I tell you, there's some neat cases going on. Went to lunch with Jessica here. She's got a young man that's been in pain since he was 17 years old. He's 27, 10 years of pain. Big tumor on his coccyx area, from what I understand. And gone and out of pain, and first time in 10 years. Whew, man. Another guy wiggling his toes. It's a quad. Good stuff, man. And I hope you guys are getting those same results because it's easy to get them. You get these people to follow the diets. And I keep telling her, even though these people are emaciated, they're malabsorbed. The same problem is blocking their absorption of nutrition that is blocking their ability to get rid of their systemic waste, their cellular waste. And if you can't get rid of acid waste from your cells, you're in deep, deep doo-doo. Where's it going? And that's the problem most people face. So wherever you see accumulation of acids in tissue, you're always going to see the word disease attached to the symptom of it. Always. And it's nothing more than acidosis. You can have alkalotic areas, no question. But by and large, everything breaks down to an acid. Everything. So that is what they have to get to realize that there's waste in the body, a lot of waste from 100 trillion cells that have to exit the body, that can't be recirculated through the bloodstream. That sort of thinking right there should have put them like, oh, did we put that out there? Oh, yeah, that looks pretty bad. I hope no one really looks at that, because it shows you how ignorant a person is when you start coming out with stuff like that, So if you're a medical doctor and you want to talk to me, you better have your shit together, because I'm going to come right down on you, because you're trying to convince me, be curing people all around the world, that toxic chemicals are important. Even though there's no cure, still important to take toxic chemicals. That kind of stupidity is monstrous. But it's out there. It's out there all over the place. It's sad stuff, humans should be getting together. And perhaps that'll happen when the bombs keep going off more and we start seeing more aliens and contact is made more. I think the humans will probably want to join together a little bit, maybe. I don't know. But it's crazy. That's no question. But each and every one of you are the sweethearts of the divine. Remember that. Never forget who you are. It's told me that many times when I'm doing something that really they don't want me to do. Remember who you are. It's like, the friggin' mind and creation is the playground of the divine. I mean, that's nothing more than that. It's like goes on forever, seemingly, but it is simply the infinite expressing itself in the finite with dualistic laws that govern it. In other words, you have to deal with both sides of the coin, not just one. That's why when you pull back out of the mind, you're free from that. I mean, it'll come at you. Talk to the hand. The face isn't listening. You negative thing, you. Hello, Dr. Morse. How are you doing? I am doing fantastic. I've been a little wore out because we've been doing massive amounts of work at my house. Remember, I used to build custom homes for a living, so I'm a tool man, Tim. My electrical supply is like Home Depot. My plumbing supply at the house is like Home Depot. So I had to move all of this from one place to another place, and just massive work, concrete work. So I'm taking this week off. Let my shoulders rest up. Thank you for beautiful and hopeful. Oh, thank you, man. If I can inspire any of you, and sometimes I get a little hard, but if you don't get tough, this world is going to consume you. And so I want all of you to get tough, but in the right, loving way. You can be tough and loving at the same time, you know? Some people don't know how to do that, but there's a question I hope that you can answer. This is a Dutch woman at 58 years young. A Dutch woman, huh? And got diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015. No. I never received chemo, thank God, radiation. I wasn't operated either, though they suggested to amputate my breast. The lump is 3.5 by 4 centimeters. Vanished after about 3 years completely. I like that. Maybe because of the hormone blockers I started in 2016. I stopped with this type of medication last April as it didn't work anymore. The cancer has metastasized into my bones and vertebrae. They predicted I would live 3 to 5 years, so here I am 8 years further on the path, and although I am not afraid to pass on the other side, I'm not planning to leave yet. Good Dutch woman. It's just your sewer system backed up, sweetie. Your cancer didn't move on you. It doesn't have an awareness to move on you. I think that's one of the most childish things I've ever heard medical doctors come up with is the metastasizing of cancer. Remember, their focus is on the cell, not what damaged the cell. Oh, no, nothing like that. Got a bad cell there. You don't get rid of that bad cell. It's already gotten rid of. What are you talking about? Oh, still you got to have chemo on it. Wait a minute. It's already, in a state of necrosis or in a state of decay, majorly mutated, it doesn't have the ability to do much but relieve its own viruses and stuff. Oh. But we got to kill it because it can move somehow and metastasize and make another. I mean, that whole thing is as idiotic and is as stupid as you can get. And if I'm an oncologist, I'm going to bury my head in the sand until the world changes or something because it's crazy. There's nothing about the word cancer from the allopathic community that's accurate. They have no idea. It's a cash cow. They'll get plenty of people to run for breast cancer groups, plenty of people to donate their life savings to cancer groups because there could be a cure coming around the corner. You know that carrot has been in front of the nose for how many hundreds of years now on everything? We can't go hundreds of years. If you go back, Pasteur, Burcroft, Beecham, all those people were around the later 1800s, 1900s. And that's all the germ theory people. That's why you see pasteurization. That's why you see vaccinations, why you see antibiotics. Everybody's scared of the germ. Oh my God, it's going to attack me. You breathe in about 14,000 germs every hour. Come on. We live symbiotically with nature. When you start eating dead tissue, don't tell me you're going to invoke worms, bacteriums because you're in putrefaction. I was reading some pieces on this. It's some good stuff, but still when I read it, a lot of people are still lost with the lymphatic system, and this is the problem. Even those with a much higher awareness about the germ theory and the whole idea of diseases and stuff, how ridiculous, they still kind of put things in context of diseases. And it's just, you got to realize, if you do not understand, the body has a huge sewer system in it. Of course it does. And it has eliminative organs tied to the sewer system. Of course it does. And you've got a right kidney that controls the right side of the body and the left side of the body. Why would you have two? Oh, you got an extra kidney. This is how stupid. It just gets me. And these, what are these, not so much kidney transplants, but in dialysis. I had one. I don't know where it is. Someone brought me a poster. It says, you have an extra kidney, donate one. See, so when people start tearing apart the medical community, it looks pretty bad. And that's their problem. When you start opening up the can, it's full of worms. And it's not good. The treatment of conditions, the treatment of symptoms of the human body mostly leads to death or serious suppression of your lymph system to where your future becomes popping tumors all over the place. If you're popping tumors all over the place, your cancer's not moving. Your lymphatic system's backed up systemically. When you back up a whole system, you can back it up in some of these genetically weakened areas, and we've talked about that. So you're going to see those areas in more trouble first. But when your kidney goes down, filtration-wise, you lost filtration on that whole side of the body. And it's just a matter of time. But you've got miles of networks of lymph vessels and capillaries. So it takes a while. But now people are so saturated lymphatically, they've got cancer in their fingers, they got cancer in their hair, they got I'm just saying. It's just that cells are being damaged or torn down or apart by acid chemistry that's stagnant. There's only two sides of chemistry, and you can't claim diseases or anything else until you understand those two sides of chemistry and how the body interfaces with those two sides of chemistry. How does your body interface with acids and base in life? The other thing that would be very helpful medical doctors to learn is the nature of foods, both physics and chemistry, both the electromagnetic energy of foods and the chemistry of foods. Why would you think that altering the chemistry of a food grown out of nature is better for you than what nature grows? What makes anybody think they're better and that that nature doesn't have it? Man has it. If you think that, your narcissism is so bad, I think you need to take a break. Maybe go dig ditches for a while. Maybe do something to align yourself with nature a little more, to understand that you can't run and hide from nature. You can't go in a chemical lab and think you're copying nature, because your narcissism is way beyond reach. Horrible. Sorry about that, but these medical doctors that are using these things and don't wake up are a killing machine. And love big houses, nice fancy cars, and killing humans all over the place. That doesn't sound good. So it's time the world learns naturopathy. What is a true naturopath, and what can a true naturopath do? / detox specialists. I'll put you guys against any naturopath unless you've learned from us. I'll put you against any naturopath. Look at the California naturopath. Jesus criminy. living in a world far, far away, guys, trying to treat disease symptoms with supplements. Really? All right. So what's happening here is you haven't got fixed your lymph system. And this is what's happening to all of us. If you don't fix your sewer system, you can't expect any changing results. You can throw all kinds of supplements, vitamins, minerals, colloids. In other words, you can put all this nutrition into the body, and you're still going to have tumors. It's not a nutritional problem to have a tumor. That's stupid. This is about improper elimination or a lack thereof of your systemic waste. Why would that be, I wonder? That's what people have to. Why would the kidneys lose their ability to filter? Could it be the same reason that, even though I have my own feelings about who, but found that these acid ash protein diets is what's causing all the colon cancers? Now that's out of the World Health Organization, right? What kind of kickback would it cause the kidneys and bladder? And there's your answer. Man has been eating acid. If man had been eating an alkaline-rich diet of fruits, berries, and melons and salads, man would be you'd be on a spiritual planet. There would be no wars. Oh, that ethnic group stole our property. We're going to terminate every one of them. You're not going to get along in a world like that when you have half this world wanting to kill the other half. You're just not going to do it. So let's get World War III over with. Then maybe it's settled, the smoke will settle, and whoever's still standing, okay. Just a rock spinning through space, for God's sakes. These beings are so far from understanding who they are and what they're doing and the karmic results of all this. It's not even funny. If you fully understand karma, your actions are going to be totally different because there's only one person going to be paying for it. I am fruit fasting now for the 6th week now, and the skin gets utterly dry. Yeah, you're pretty acidic. The skin of my face lost its elasticity, so I have aged a lot. Also, from a previous fruit fast of 5 months in 2021, I am taking a lot of herb tinctures. One of them is liver skin. Is this happening to everyone that eats fruit only? No. People don't dehydrate. It's suggesting you're extremely dehydrated. But look at your cancer issue. You're just being exposed to what you've got there. Fruits are hydrating, period. Totally hydrating. They're on the alkaline side. So for you to see a drier skin, I don't know. You want to check your basal temperatures under your arm, make sure your endocrinology is up and working, make sure you're sweating good. That's another thing I would do is get myself sweating. Try to get your basal temperatures up to 98. Make sure your kidneys are filtering because you could be moving things around in the body but not filtering worth a hoot. And that's a problem. And if your cancer has what they call metastasized, or you're now realizing your lymph system is everywhere in trouble, then you're just seeing what you already have. Because fruits don't make you worse. No, don't take collagen for it. I'd also like to know what Dr. Morse says about the wild yam and the adrenal support. Is it safe to take it when you're diagnosed with hormone-sensitive breast cancer? I read an article that it might influence the estrogen production. Okay, so, and her name, I can't pronounce it, sweetheart, Solveig. I can't pronounce it, but, so wild yam. Wild yam is more of to me, more of a progesterone type, an anti-inflammatory. But if they claim that it inspires estrogen receptors, the problem, Rubidex, tamoxifen, all these estrogen suppressors are carcinogenic. I've talked about this on videos before. The World Health Organization considers these estrogen blockers carcinogenic. You can't take anything to suppress your body. Matter of fact, if they want to suppress estrogen, let's get into it. Why would you want to suppress estrogen in a cancer case? Oh, estrogen's a little acidic. What's the pH of estrogen? Does anybody know? I think we finally found it. almost 6, or maybe even a little more. That's a minor acid. Why would God make estrogen so hot that it would destroy the own cells of your body? Stupid, but it's medical thinking. So let's go back. So if you're a medical doctor and you think estrogen excites or exacerbates cancer, then you're saying that acids are at the root of this problem, not estrogen. No, we're going to tear this apart and look at the chemistry of it, because that's where you got to go. If you don't go to the chemistry of things, then you're sitting there with egg on your face. So you take estrogen apart, it's an acid, a minor acid, enough to keep moisture, enough to activate bleeding, enough to do things like this. Then you have its remedy right there with it, progesterone. That's life, positive and negative. Everywhere you go, you have those hormone steroids. Everybody, one turns on, one turns off. Everybody controlling everybody. One an acid, one a base. That's life. Life fluctuates between the two poles all the time. That's how you get form. That's how you create atoms. That's how you create something that out of pure awareness. You know, when you get into the formless worlds, they're formless. There's no form in them. It's pure awareness beyond conception. It doesn't need to be form. Excuse me. This is what creation is for. To have form. And then it can individualize itself into you, into me, into the camera, into the lights, into the mic up here, all kinds of things. So it's just God playing with itself. Who else? It's omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. It doesn't have anywhere to go. It can't go outside of itself because can't nothing be outside of the all. Can't be anything outside of the infinite. But if you're the finite, but of course. But if you're suggesting that God is a finite being, yeah, you haven't got very far yet. You need to get deeper into meditation and get out of the body and start seeing what, unlimited energies are like. So, wild yam root, you know what? To me, it's also a great anti-inflammatory. So, whatever you think, I don't have a problem with it whatsoever. You need to get out of this idea that your cancer is a cancer and that it's moving on you, that it has an awareness and it's attacking you. This is where Pasteur, Virchow, Bichon, all these right around that 1900, later, maybe later 1800s, early 1900s, brought out this whole theory of the germ. Then here comes Rife and the Rife microscope, and then the Rife machine, which I had one. But their whole consciousness is about microorganisms invading the human body. So you're breathing in about 14,000 microorganisms every hour. The problem is the terrain, is your inner condition of your sewer system. You don't have the call of the wild. Flies don't fly around you unless you stink. Those that eat meat and sweat, you might have some flies flying around you. I don't get flies flying around me. I don't even get mosquitoes flying around me. But understand that you're dealing in a sewer system, just like your house sewer system. Has septic tanks tied to it and everything. But it also has another, your septic tank at your house is kind of like your final outside. Not true in the human body. Your septic tanks or lymph nodes in the human body are only there with bacterium and macrophages. That's to deal with damaged cells, of course, and acids and chemistry. Breaking them all down. And then, of course, you have elimination from that. Why would the lymph nodes break up damaged cells, break down acid so you're not on your knees peeing, and then recirculate all that in the blood? King size stupid. But, so you got to work on your kidneys, sweetheart. Get them filtering. Quit worrying about estrogenic things because there's not, throw that aside. Get on your grapes. Keep honking on down that world because you're very involved. You're involved in the bones. You're involved in all these places. And it's just that your lymph system is what's stagnant. This isn't like an energy flowing through you, and it's like a witch in the night on a broom and things like that. Turn on the lights. Go in your body and turn on the light switch. Go inside of you and turn on the light switch, and what do you see? You see a bunch of tubes and pipes going to organs and glands. And these organs and glands, the glands control the organs. And your organs are, of course, your manufacturing. You got your liver, your chemical factory. You got your kidneys, are major eliminative organs of your sewer system. You got to understand duality has to have both aspects. Duality dictates and demands both aspects. You eat, you poop. Demands it. You don't eat, you want to be a breatharian? Well, maybe we can change that. But you got to dig in, sweetheart, on your kidneys. Get your kidneys filtering. I would get on herbs. I get on 2 kidney herbs, a lymphatic one. I would do at least probably 2 dropperfuls of the endocrine formula for at least I don't know where your blood pressures are or nothing like that, but you got to start looking, because this is where you have low blood pressure that can go into high blood pressure. So once you start pulling all this lymph and hydrating, all that pressure comes down, and then you start seeing the genetics coming to play, because that's what you're going to see in detox. You see it every time. The body's going to come on down to your genetic path for some reason. It's going to come down to the genetic thinking of the cell, and with that power you're feeding it, the cell's going to go, whoa, I'm more than I thought I was. Hell yeah. And that's why you see tissue regeneration. That's why you see genetic regeneration. Love it. Oh. A 23-year-old Indian woman from India. Endometriosis. Someone else in the family. My sister is diagnosed with endometriosis. So what's she really diagnosed with naturopathically? Heavy lymphatic stagnation interstitially, meaning around the cells, in the uterine wall. My guess, the cervix is also a little involved, and perhaps the vaginal wall. That's where a picture of her eyes would look at that, because if it's infecting the vaginal wall, you can use the Heal-All tea. As a matter of fact, you could get some up in the cervix maybe, but get in a bathtub or someplace you can lift your hips up, insert that tea, the Heal-All tea. That I've converted atypical cells way back, but it's a strengthening and a cleaning tea at the same time. I suggest the female reproductive formula. It's a strengthening formula. It's more of a progesterone formula. But this is lymphatic, plain and simple. Very acidic, and I've said this many times because I've seen it many times, where you can get so bad that these acids will weld that uterine wall to the bowel wall. So you really want to she's got to get, same thing as everybody else, got to get your kidneys moving. You got to get your lymphatic system hydrated and filtering through your kidneys, or sweating, or both would be preferable. That's the only way you can get rid of it, because what are you going to throw in on a stagnation of the sewer system in the body? What are you going to throw in on? Vitamins, minerals? Done it, 50 years, done it all. Okay, except I never did the urine or the stool. No way. The doctors she consulted said there is no cure for this disease. It's not a disease. See, again, they put everything diseases. That's it. And then, here's the typical. It's a disease, man. There's nothing for it. We got nothing for that. We just cut your uterus out. That's allopathic. Naturopathic is your lymph system's backed up in your body. The uterus is just an example of what else might be backed up. And how could you find how bad it is and how bad my body is? Iris. Your eyes. Take a picture of your eyes, guys, and there's your body right there in front of you. No, this is not your body. This is my body. Holy crap. I'm telling you, it's the best thing that you can do to see if the vaginal wall is involved and the uterus, how bad. Excuse me. Generally, there's a little bit of genetics in the uterus when you have it this bad. They said she will have to undergo operation and remove it. However, it will occur again after a couple of years, and she will have to get operated and removed. Oh, however, it will occur again after a couple of years, and she'll have to have another surgery. Good. You want to move from our $5 million house to our $10 million house, honey? And at the same time, the ladies are suffering like crazy. Then you get your fibroids and scar tissue adhesions. Oh yeah, just take it out. That's what the difference is between allopathic and naturopathic. Naturopathic says, you know what? Fix your kidneys, get your lymph system opened up, all that'll come out of there, and you'll save your uterus. Any deterioration of the cells will rebuild themselves, and you're in good shape, and you can have kids and everything else, because by that time, you're going to fix your kidneys, you're going to fix your ovaries, you're going to fix everything in your body. You're going to fix your bowels, absorption, because you can't fix the lymph system without fixing those things. And when you do, you're whole and new again. And this lady's only 23 years old, but that's allopathy. They're lost in the world of Pasteur, Detox, Virchow, all these assholes that thought they knew everything. Microbiologists, all these people like this, and they don't know anything. Everything is coming into the body, attacking it. And that whole philosophy has turned this world into a killing machine allopathically. It's horrible. Now, this is a great example. We'll just cut the mother out, and we'll cut you on a few more times before you die. What about the ovaries? Because ovarian cysts are coming next. Well, we're going to leave those because, why are you going to leave those? Because, you need estrogen, progesterone for you remove the uterus. Ovarian estrogen and progesterone is not systemic estrogen, progesterone. I hate to tell you. That's adrenal liver, that fat cell. That has nothing to do with. So you're leaving in tissue that's just going to atrophy and decay away in a female. Does it every time. Your ovaries will atrophy right on away. Really not very bright, is it? Not when you can take a little self-discipline, go on a fruit diet for maybe 4 months, get on the right herbs, and boom, gone. But you fixed your whole body. You're not like fixing one part. That's stupid. You fix your whole body because your whole body is tied together as what? One. We're all tied together as one. People just don't realize that. They see differences external to them, and so life is that way. That's because your attention is captured by duality, by creation. And when you stop letting your attention being captured by the things of creation, and you pull back and become the observer, your whole life, you just got your life back in a way that you can't believe. And at the same time, now you got the tools to fix your embodiments, and then you can have fun with them and not get too caught up in them, and you go on with that. They said this will affect her fertility. Oh, are you kidding? Of course it will. And high chances that she can't have a baby in the future. Well, they're going to probably do a partial hysterectomy is what they're talking about here. Yeah, I wouldn't buy into that one. They also suggested her to get married and have children ASAP before she gets infertile. Come on, ladies. There's so many great females on our channel that have overcome all this stuff. Yeah. It is all true. Is all this true? Nope. Yes, if you follow their course. Yep. They're telling you the truth if you follow what they say. We're good. But in reality, once you have a hysterectomy, that even a partial, you don't want to get fertile. You don't want anything to do with that. Is there any cure for endometriosis? All right. As a disease, no cure. As lymphatic stagnation and acidosis interstitially in the uterine wall, absolutely. So if you want to treat it as a disease, there's no cure. But if you want to treat it naturopathically and you want to look at the symptom of it and you realize, oh, look, I've got a lot of swollen, thickened wall, a lot of inflammation there. What could be causing that? Would my blood be causing that? Because all the uterus is a bunch of cells, right? Spaces around them, and what else? 2 floods. Oh! Oh, God. That all? Well, So So you got a bunch of cells, spaces around them, basically, and two fluids, blood and lymph. Which one is causing you problems? Blood? You know better. Only one causing you problems, and this is your lymphatic system. This is the sewer system of the body, and it's not just in your ovaries. In your uterus. It's going to be basically all through one side at least. And how much is it up in the brain? I don't know. How are your tonsils? How swollen are they? Have you had them removed? All these things like that. How's your lymph nodes up in the throat? You got 5 lymph nodes in the throat, big ones. Tonsils, they call them. So, sweetheart, her name is spelled R-A-H-I-L. Rahel. I can't pronounce any of those names. I am sorry. I didn't go to school to become the smartest man alive. Hi, Dr. Morse. I was wondering if you could answer a question for me. Do you recommend long periods of 100% fruit fasting, like a year or more, during detox? Well, if you could do it, absolutely, if you could do it. But if you're finding it's real hard on you because it's powerful, you can feel your body being astringed. You feel tighter, stronger, your back straightens up, everything. It just depends, because you get people that are so involved, and I've got some new eyes. I got some more videos I'm going to be making for you, but there's a family of 3. All I did was look at the mother and go, oh, God. The daughter, the son, better of the 3. You get someone with serious, chronic lymphatic problems, that you might be going back and forth with your clients and with yourself a little bit, during that period of time, because sometimes, when you're astringing heavily and you're chronically involved, you're breaking up a lot of acids in the human body. And if your kidneys can't handle that, the kick isn't fun. That's why I learned about the kidneys, I worked with the kidneys, and I stopped having calls in the middle of the night. I used to have calls in the middle of the night all the time. I started doing this the way I looked at this and put it together. I didn't have calls in the middle of the night anymore. Everybody knew what was up. Everybody knew what they were going for. Other than that, you're just trying to treat symptoms. If you don't understand the lymphatic system, you're lost in a world of treatment of symptoms, even naturopathically, quite add. So with that, I would say some people can. I could. Although I take that back. I was just telling Jessica, I ate lunch with them, and it's like, I did come in, meet my buddy. I had a friend did the same thing. He lived in his Volkswagen van. And we'd meet up at this GNC. And years ago in the 70s, GNC was a full-fledged health food store. And Haagen-Dazs had a carob ice cream. I'm surprised that people have never heard of carob. But had carob ice cream. And oh, God, the carob ice cream. And when you're all on fruit. So we'd meet up there and we'd each get about a pint. Just ream that thing. Oh, I'd sit there in ecstasy. Oh, yeah, the price is paid. Oh, mucus everywhere. Oh, my God. It was horrible. But it was so good. So there's times you trade for something good, tasting, But they quit making it, and that was probably the best thing. Because, as a cheat, some things you just get you, it's really good. And I had health food stores before that, and it's like, when you eat out of your health food store, you're not eating healthy. I was eating all kinds of yogurt. Had continental yogurt, had some good flavors, really natural. Of course, I can't even remember all the different yogurts I had in there. I think I had a raw goat's milk yogurt. I had raw goat's milk cheeses, of course, raw cheeses. Back then, you could have raw milk products. Oh, but the germs got everybody. Farmers can't even drink their own raw milk out of their cows. Germs! So let's just take all the food and let's just burn the hell out of it and cook it up, and then let's have the most unhealthy planet in the universe. Boy, there's some real stupid humans on this planet. I just can't believe it. Do you recommend, or do you more so recommend altering periods of 100% fruit and periods of raw with a salad? I like that too. I think it goes to the individual. You know, some of you guys are like me. We're going to go, baby. And then others, you know, got to take it as you go slow and do that. And again, see what your detox symptoms are like. I really didn't have serious detox symptoms. I had tons of mucus. Of course, we were farmers, milk drinkers, so that was great. I saw some nasty mold-ridden poop coming out early on. I never saw any real black mucus coming out of me, but stool, of course, you know, that all comes out. So it was the most powerful experience I've ever had. And I just, anybody that can maintain a life of fruitarianism, amazing. I just don't think it's accomplishable, perhaps, for periods of time, because that's what I do. I go into periods of time. I go mango fast. I go in periods of time where you eat a lot of fruit. And then I come back, and then we go out, and then I get coleslaw and whatever I can find on the menu that's halfway healthy. It's just the life and the way it is. But if you get too fixated, here's the other problem. I was super fixated on this. And when I came out of the woods, I still had some friends left from previous years. So I went to visit them, you know, and I was just excited that I found the answers to health and how you can get your body robust and all this. But I guess I was too overexcited. So, you know, my friends didn't stay around long. I had to make new friends. And I realized, you know what, maybe I need to look at myself and not realize that others might not pick up that passion you have, but you can't help but show it because you can't help but feel it. And so it's hard to hide what you're really feeling, isn't it? So, you know, people just have to get with that. Now, people need to see what it's like to be on fruit. At least go through a fruit detox and then balance out okay. I don't care. Whatever. Even if you had to have a piece of dead animal on a salad. But go through the fruit detox. Get the kidneys filtering. I mean, you can't imagine the favor you're doing your human body to get your kidneys filtering. Get all the lymph nodes opened up because you don't want no tumors. I mean, we've showed you pictures. And you've seen pictures when Marco does these Zooms and when we do the classes and stuff. You've seen some of these pictures. And God knows, no one wants to walk there. You know, I'd love to keep showing you this picture with the lady with her. You don't want to walk there. And your tumors start getting any bigger, you dig in harder. But again, it takes them out of time to get your kidneys to start filtering before you'll start hydrating also these miles of lymph. I've showed you the lymph system just in a finger. So you're on a hydrating program, electrical hydrating program, which is what the main food of vertebrates is anyway. When you're seeing an unconditioned wild animal, they're just being themselves. To rebuild in between, particularly for people who have become weak and frail from all fruit. Yeah, Chelsea Miller. I know you. Well, I just have to say I agree. But at the same time, look at the guy with the toe. All the neurological conditions that we've rebuilt. I didn't give him breaks. No way. And look what happened. Got a new toe out of just fruit. And herbs. To be honest, it's not just fruit. The herbs were there too. But out of a fruit diet, which is nerve, brain, and you see it's also all the other tissues involved. There's enough calcium, there's enough protein, amino acids, better to say amino acids, to support any life. But we feel like, I was out for lunch and this lady was a waitress. I'd never seen her before in this restaurant. And she has personal trainer on her back and she had a body like a personal trainer. And she said, "Oh, where's your protein?" I said, "I don't do protein." She looks at me kind of odd. Couldn't figure, I didn't have time to go into it, but first thing out of the mouth, "Where's your protein?" I don't do dead animals. I don't do proteins. I want amino acids, but I don't want to get too many of them either. We're electrical bodies. And you see how they're built already. The toe rebuilds itself. The body builds itself on fruits. The problem is the lymphatic system and malabsorption. And people with sulfurs are even worse off. So to fix malabsorption and to get your back up in a way that you look really good, sometimes it's a trip. Sometimes it's a trip. Sometimes it takes a year or two or more. I don't know what to say about it. I like both ways, sweetie. I like both ways, Shelby. I think that you can do either way. It just depends on your client, what they're willing to do, what their symptoms are, what their eyes look like. You've got some people that are not so heavily involved, and you got other people that, oh my God, I don't know where these three were from, what country, but they were heavy, had to be heavy into dairy, because nobody gets blue eyes that are chronic, brown, without doing dairy products. I would think that's real hard to do. This is Joshua. She's got a client I want to say hi to. The man's got eat up with lymph all over the place. They call it prostate and all kinds of tough cancers, but basically. All right, so Joshua is a male of 52, 5 foot 10 inches, 170 pounds. Overview, lungs. Myself. Had the valley fever then, couldn't breathe. Biopsy has a result of nodules put on prednisone and methotrexate. That is the worst thing you could be on the planet. And antifungal meds. Oh, antifungal meds, huh? You know what's scary? Antifungal meds have fatal events tied to them big time. Lamisil. Simple, isn't Lamisil over the counter or something? Fatal events. I was shocked. So be careful. Because remember, you're trying to kill microorganisms, but at the same time, your cells are small. Some believe a cell is empty. I want to get off of them. What do you have available for me to try an alternative natural way to clear my lungs? I'm still short of breath. Thanks, Josh. Couple things, Josh. They have nodules in your lungs. Where are they coming from? What system in your body is nodules, tumors, cysts, boils, pimples? What system in your body does that come from? Well, it's the sewer system. They call it the immune system, which they don't understand. And I simply dub the word sewer system because it's so much easier for you to understand a sewer system than an immune system because they don't know what immunity is. They finally believe that there's learned immunity. That finally came up, but that's Beauchamp more than anything. He pulled that up away from Pasteur, which I think he was so much smarter than Pasteur. Pasteur was an idiot. And didn't he end up killing a couple of his kids, if I remember right? But Pasteur was an idiot. And look at what happened out of him. We were born, the antibiotics came out of that, all kinds of things. Even though vaccines were played with way before then, say even in the later 1700s, with pus from sores given into humans. This is your medical community, your elaborate medical community, and what they do. So here's the thing. Number one, you have to go after your lymphatic system. Broken record? I don't care. You got to go after your kidneys, your adrenal glands. Now, what would the adrenal glands' role be relationship to his lungs? We know the kidney relationship is lymphatic. So all the little nodules or tumors in his lungs, it's going to come out through the lymphatic system. That's the only system that can come out. Or you're going to cough them up, Josh. Now, I've had people cough up tumors out of their lungs and everything else before. So you can get this out. And you want to do this like now because you don't want it when your lungs start filling up because you don't want to know what they do to you. So you want to get this now. The lymphatic system is key number one. With the lymphatic system, you are also including the adrenal glands because they're on top of the kidneys, right? Control the kidneys. So that has to be included as part of the endocrinology of the sewer system. But what role does the adrenal glands play in your breathing? Neurotransmitters. That's your blood pressure you're looking at, your top number. And if it's artificially high, that doesn't tell you crap. What's your blood pressure growing up? What has it been? And my guess at your age, you're 52, you're going to be facing high blood pressure. But in reality, you should have real low blood pressure. If you still have good low blood pressure, good. Then you can take licorice root and things like that to help bring that up, and you'll increase neurotransmitter production and you'll breathe. Second, get in your back here and do those neurolymphatic points, especially low C all the way down the T's. I'd go all the way down, heck up the kidney lumbars and everything else, but have somebody work on those neurolymphatic points. Why? Because they trip neurologically the lymphatic system. And that turns things on. You can breathe better. Second, get in colder air. You want to be where your air is always cold. When you get around hot air and you can't breathe, it's worse. And cold is which side of chemistry? Alkaline. Oh! Fruit diet only. I'd be on fruits, berries, and melons only. And since your lungs are not filling up right now, it's perfect for you. Because when your lungs start filling up, then they spray Teflon, all this stuff. I mean, it's not worth it. And anything of a lung surgery, you want to pass. Die with lung cancer then, if you go that way. Because the surgery, you're going to die of pain anyway. I don't know too many people that's had lung surgery haven't died of pain. But possible. If you know how to go on raw after a surgery and not get the adhesions and all that, and remove the inflammation, it's possible to survive a good surgery like that and not die. But as a rule, you can't remove the lymph system out of the human body. That's like saying I can move the blood vessels out of the human body. Really? I can imagine how China did it. The other thing, I'm on kidneys. I'm on 2 kidney formulas. I'm on an adrenal gland formula. I'm on the endocrine gland formula. I'm definitely going to be on the lung formula, aren't I? And I'm going to be on a lymphatic formula too. So I'm going to be on a lymphatic formula. I'm going to be on the lung formula. I'd probably double dip on the lung formula. I know I would. I want this out. I want my kidneys filtering. I want my system clean because I have no idea what you look like lymphatically. Until I see pictures of eyes, I have no idea. And neither do you. And that's the beauty of iridology. I can't say it enough. It's just in your face that you can see what you got. What my lymph nodes look like for each lobe. You got 3 lobes here, 2 lobes on the left side. Got a heart stuck in here, hopefully, sometimes on the right. So you got 3 lobes over here. You got a bronchial trunk that feeds them. So without an eye look at this is Joshua's email. This is pretty cool. Free to roam teeny homes. We call them park models down here, and there's whole parks of park models. I almost bought one once because I've lived in mobile homes, RVs, more RVs than anything. To have a mobile home from an RV is luxury. I would have loved to have had a mobile home before instead of a little RV, but this is Gina. Hey, Gina, 60. 60 years young. 5'5". What do you think? What might we find here? Might find a little bit of a pituitary, let us say. I will say, I betcha. Been experiencing chronic constipation. Can't pass bowels without Detox. Detox. Well, you got to move from Detox to our GI Renew. And number 4 or 5 probably. I use number 5 when you just ain't moving. I had a broadcaster's wife that had Crohn's so bad, she couldn't poop. I forget what she had to do. I had her up to 20 number 5s. I finally got her, believe it or not. I finally got her. But she was like, whoa, real bad. Real bad. So, a couple things in constipation. First of all, your bowel wall. And this is where you, again, going back to iridology, you get to see how thick that interstitial space is in the bowel wall. The thicker, the more hardened. The second thing, look for sulfur, orange around the pupil. If you got orange around the pupil, sulfur drugs hardens things. So you get more hardened tissue that way, and you get heavy fungal problems with sulfur drugs. The third thing, of course, you're going to look at the adrenal glands and peristalsis. You know, you want your peristalsis, so you're going to always go after your kidneys anyway. And you're going to start cleaning the wall off. You're going to clean all the mucoid plaque that can harden like a rock on the wall. So you're going to clean the wall off topically, basically. That's still topically, all right? Interstitially is inside the body lymphatically through the kidneys, all right? And neurologically, because peristalsis is a neurological event. So brain and nerve would be a nice one to hit on there. If your adrenal glands, if your blood pressure is too low, hitchhike licorice root. You want at least 120 to have good bowel movements, or 118, right? But you're going to have to consider the condition of the interstitial spaces along the gut wall. Remember the fenestrated cells aligned on the bowel wall, which has holes? Well, you get mucoid plaque, you start blocking all of that. You block absorption, the villi, all of this, and you've got malabsorption. You're feeding basically on your own trash. So opening that up is key, but it's not something you can go in and do a colonic and rake it off because it's inside. It's interstitial. It's inside the wall. You can clean the wall off, but good fruit diet will do that. A good salad and fruits, that'll clean your GI tract nice for you. And then we have herbal formulas to do that. The GI broom, of course. Yeah. If you have sulfur, that's penetrated. That's a booger bear. Still will come out. But those are the things you got to do to relieve constipation. You want to check your pituitary, you're only 5'5". So you have to look at not only the adrenal glands, but, up here. I got to look here, but I got to look up here because up here controls here. And my thyroids and everything else. So you really want to pay attention to pituitary weaknesses because at your age, you got to look at bones, skeletal system, depressions, connective tissue, keep on going. Particularly connective tissue. You don't want to have an aneurysm, hernias, things like that. So, and with a pituitary like that, because 5'5", no question, pituitary. How bad? How much? Iridology is the only science that'll tell you. I keep harping, but that's how you see where you're at and your improvements. And once you get that, you have a tool that no one else has that you can look inside your human body and figure it out. Right? So that's what I would be going on. Which brings diarrhea. I have just ordered the mover number 5. Okay, all right. Now here's how it goes with these bowel formulas. That's why I have so many of them. Somebody is always in the middle. I get someone like, all right, so number one really doesn't have any movement power to it. It is designed totally. I designed that to clean your bowel wall off. You're already moving good. Nothing in there. A little gentian to kick up a little hepatic and pancreatic function. Some herbs in there to kind of pick up some functions of tissues and stuff, of course. And then it's got good cleansers and everything for the wall. Good anti-inflammatories. You know that. Cyprium, marshmallows are great for GI tracts. So then the 0, of course, is for people that move too much. But now, number 1. Number 1 occurs when you miss a day now and then. You get on number 1, real gentle, smooth, Number 2, you miss every 2 days. You don't poop on every 2 days. I go to number 2. I don't poop for every 3 days. I'd go to number 3. That's how I design these. Very simple to understand, very simple to take. Oh man, I go 30 days. You better take some 5s. I've had several females tell me they didn't move their bowels till every time they menstruate. Means it took an acid, a stimulant, to get them to poop. See, and you don't want that. You want natural peristalsis. How do you get that? You make tissue healthy. And healthy means good blood flow and good lymph flow. Oh, there's one more. Wait a minute. What's the third flow of energy in the human body? What's the third one? Nerve. Blood, nerve, and lymph. Those are the 3 main energy flows. Got to be real conscious of that. Excuse me. And And that Detox, that's the problem with it. You don't want, even my formulas, you don't want one where you take it and then you have diarrhea. Too strong. That's why you can't, with the chemicals like that, you can't find your balance. But with these formulas, you can find the balance to where you have a perfect movement, you don't have any stress, and that's what you want. But the nice thing about these formulas, and with the Cascara, I love the Cascara, is that you can get off and get off. If you start with number 5s, you start moving better, you go down to number 4s or number 3s. You work number 3s, you're on fruit, you start getting everything moving better. Oh, I'm moving too much. I got to go down to number 2 or number 1 now. And then once you're clean, done, you don't need to go that route anymore. Check. And by saying that, your liver will clean itself. But remember, your liver is a chemical factory. That's what its job is. Your lymph system is your detox side. I'm a diabetic. Okay. Now we know the adrenals are involved, sweetheart. You're a diabetic. So your adrenals are very involved, but so is Monsieur Pituitary. So you got to take care of both of those to get rid of this blood sugar problem. And not sure I am experiencing gastroparesis. Ooh. Okay, gastroparesis. That's paralysis of the stomach. That's not good. And if you do, you got to go on fruits and berries and melons and real electrical foods and not so acidic foods. At the same time, I made a tea, the stomach tea for gastroparesis. So, use the stomach tea, do the best you can. Don't overeat your big meal. Don't eat meals too much. Make smaller meals more often. It's so much more sensible. Eat when you're hungry. There's no time. I was just in the ER a few weeks back and was told I had a hernia. See what I'm saying? Yep, see what I'm saying? You've got pituitary, and I'm going to go over here and grab your parathyroids and go, hey, we got to work on these babies because that's serious. So you want to get the endocrine gland formula, say 2 dropperfuls 3 times a day, but you want to get the parathyroid formula from the clinic and also you want pituitary herbs. You want to order the pituitary herbs and stuff and go after that because you don't want to play around with hernias, aneurysms, and things. And I was just talking to the other lady about that same thing. You want to be real careful there because acids pull calcium out of you. That's another thing they don't understand. I was just in and gallstones, but not urgency, the surgeon told me. Okay, so your gallstones will come out. Just go on a fruit diet, do the liver gallbladder formula, and you'll see a stone or 2 come out. If not, your liver's in pretty good shape, gallbladder's not so bad, do a liver gallbladder flush. We have it here in the Jason's Detox Center, or you can get it probably online somewhere, but a good liver flush. But make sure it's not the radical ones. There's some radical stuff out there, and you only need to do one, get that cleaned out. But if you don't want to do the liver gallbladder flush, then by all means, just keep raw and it'll pop the stones out. Everything that's become agglomerated will unagglomerate. If you got the time. I'm very frightened on colon cancer and the test they are going to tell me I have to go through. And input from you is not only appreciated, but I am grateful for. Oh, Gina, thank you, sweetie. Well, yeah, you don't want to play their games. This whole thing of their game of colon cancer and everything else, you don't want that. So to avoid that, lose the fear. You're in good hands. You're in your own hands. And we're all around here. We're not going anywhere. And you've got thousands of us all over the world, so you're in good hands. So just relax. You know you got to change your diet. You know you're going to head for the fruit side, right? And that's very, very important. I could go down through this list. When I'm done with this book on fruit, berries are the natural food of man, you're all going to go, of course. But just to take one aspect of that, the ease of digestion. Why would you, if you ever feared gastroparesis, why would a medical doctor tell you to eat more protein? And that's what they'll do. Just send you to Hellville on a fast freight train south. That's what they do. And it's like, no. You need to alkalize, cool off, and electrically enhance. And raw foods are electrical. When you cook them, why would we at what is this, 2023, not look at the electrical properties of foods and all this? We're so still living in the 17 or 1800s of Pasteur and all these assholes like that. And we have a whole world base. And you know who grabbed that? Read the Flexner report. And that's going to be in our video on the lymphatic system. Who grabbed that was the Rockefellers. They all saw the tremendous money machine that it could be made treating symptoms with toxic pharmaceuticals. Who cares? Planet's overpopulated anyway, and we need to have guinea pigs, before they started wasting tens of thousands of animals, tried to figure out the truth. Oh my God, I'm telling you, when you look at it, it's pretty scary to see a modality that's come this far along without somebody stopping them. It's unbelievable. But don't be frightened about colon cancer. Do something about it. This is your sewer system. They don't understand that. So don't listen. You want to go, you want to get your kidneys filtering, you want to do what everybody that's getting their remedy, you want to follow them. So you want to, again, work with that. The nice thing about these bowel formulas and herbology, it'll clean your bowel off too. Now you got to think lymphatically inside the body. Now, I'm going down this canal. I'm still kind of on the outside of the body, believe it or not. To get in, I got to go through the intestinal wall. And when that wall is impacted with mucoid plaque, and they don't even believe that, and yet they do a lot of colonoscopies and see all this black, and the first thing out of their mouth, you've been on herbs. Yeah, I've heard that all my life. So this one lady, she had a colonoscopy, and the guy said, hey, you got black everywhere there. You've been on herbs. She said, no, I haven't. I've never taken an herb in my life. Now what's your answer, Mr. Medical Doctor? What is it? Oh, this is Donna from the U.S. of A. Donna Marie. Health inquiry. So there's an issue with people who had the vaccine and going into early labor at about 7 months. These poor friggin' kids. All I can say, the karma of these people are extensive. I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want to touch it. I wouldn't even want to see where they're going. I was, let's just say, out with some friends. And that was one of my conversations, is some of these places that these souls are taken. And there's some. They said, well, you haven't been to the worst ones. And I'm going, well, I was a real bad one. You haven't been to the worst ones. It's like, oh, shit. It kind of builds humility. The young ladies are carrying their babies low, too. It's a little too suspicious that it's happening more often. You think? Your thoughts. Maybe you can address this issue on your tube or video. I know if anyone will know and enlighten it is you. Love your loads. Gotcha, honey. Gotcha, Donna. That was my first wife's twin sister's name, Donna. And my mother's name was La Donna. Old-fashioned names. I can only say that it's a sad day. And those of us that knew better can't judge those that didn't. Because we're in, at any given time, we can tout our own selves as being unconscious. At any given moment, we're all unconscious to the totality of things. And even some of us that have been to some of the peaks of the mountains, how we say, still nothing. I mean, it's so massive that I don't even know what to say anymore. But it's sad that we live on a planet where this modality has gained power and strength through money, not through their efforts. When you strip all this apart and you take a look at allopathy, the toxic pharmaceuticals, the toxic vaccines, the toxic antibiotics, the ignorant germ theory, the idea of diseases. When you look at that whole thing, the treatment of that and the amount of deaths and injuries occurred out of this, it's staggering. Hundreds and hundreds of millions of people have been injured, and now millions of deaths. So these scientists involved, you don't think we should grab them and put them away for the rest of their lives? I do. Pfizer, the rest of your life, buddy. Your family, coming on with you, rest of your lives. Rockefellers, Rothschilds, rest of your lives. Boom. You kill humans like this and you think nothing of it? Sorry, but your time's coming. In a bad way, I hate to tell you. And it's the divine that does it. I mean, we're just nobody. We're just humans too. But what you forget in your ignorance and your arrogance is that you have the divine and you're part of it. The divine always likes to correct itself, what I see. So, bottom line here is, anything medical, you want to rethink. You always want to choose your non-toxic approach first. I'm going to tell you, if we can't get you in naturopathy, and my people that graduate from our schools, if we can't get you all together, you're screwed and tattooed. You're in serious trouble, and I would start learning out-of-body travel, because allopathy is just going to accelerate your death. There's nothing allopathy can do with chronic and degenerative cases. With the cold and flu, they can make it go away. Did they make it go away, or did they just suppress it? See, and that's your problem. With pharmaceuticals, you're suppressing the effect of your actions. They want you to think that the effect is nature causing that. Nature's coming in and causing that. You didn't do anything wrong, and we're here to help you. That needs to be flushed down my toilet. It's time that we take our power back. It's time that the humans get their health back. It's time that humans take their modalities back. These states have no idea what they're doing when they back up medical science. There's no science to it. Medical looks at us and says, "Oh, you're what do they call it? Pseudoscience." Chemistry and physics are pseudosciences. Okay. That's what you think. If there's anything pseudo, it's the science of allopathy, because there's no science behind it. It's just theories. That's why the book's coming out on naturopathic science, which is chemistry and physics, versus allopathic theories, germ theory, disease theory. These are all just theories with no actual facts or anything to back them up. And the missing element, though, and I don't mean it because I do feel for allopathy. I feel for these people. The missing element, what is it, guys? What's the missing element? There's actually two of them. Lymphatic. You don't understand the sewer system in the human body, and the human body needs to eliminate waste, acid waste. That's number one. And number two is that the kidneys are a major role to that. You know, how the lymphatic system works. You got to go beyond what you were taught, because what you were taught didn't get you anywhere, did it? You're still chasing diseases. You're still chasing these rainbows. People are still dying under your care all over the place. People don't die under our care unless they're highly advanced, and then nobody can help them. Not even nature. Nature's best help is say, come on, let's get a new body. Leave that one back. No big deal. Happens constantly. Makes me sick to hear this about the ladies with the 7 months and all that. Really messed up, and now your babies are involved. So your babies have the graphene and all the metals and developing the spike proteins and all this. All of this is in our babies and everybody. That's their plan, is to terminate humans. So the only thing I can say is a mama has to treat herself like everybody else. You have to detox this out. You can't take something to make graphene oxide just disappear. And if you're unfortunate had some of the sodium azide from some of these test things, that's real toxic. I mean, these guys will stop at nothing. When are we going to arrest them and put them away for the rest of their lives for the crimes against humans and humanity? Remember, too, most of these scientists were worthless eaters. So hello, worthless eaters. So mamas, if you're having problems, you have to go full bore health. Full bore health. Look at your eyes. Look at what you got. If your kids are dropping, I don't know how that's affecting your endocrinology. You're going to be looking at your pituitaries and your parathyroids, right? You're looking at connective tissue. You're looking at tendons. You're looking at all muscles. You're looking at everything in the body. So vaccines are a killing field. And even though people don't realize it, and of our greatest friends on the planet, Marco, can sit there firsthand and tell you, firsthand, what a vaccine will do to you. So, and there's a ton of us out there that vaccine injuries are all over the place. Oh, an accepted, what would you call it? It's an accepted effect of us trying to save the human race. Oh my God, it's suffering. The diseases are going to destroy them. Go out back and go suck on a candy bar or something. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Sickening. Sickening. Okay. So, Donna, that's all I know to tell you. Honey, these people have to get in detox. I would use the female reproductive formula. You can use that while you're pregnant. It's not an estrogenic formula. It strengthens, it tones the uterus, it tones the ovaries. It's more of a progesterone formula, so it goes real nice with pregnancy. Because if anything, when you're pregnant, you know what happens with progesterone? Presume! You know, the placenta becomes full of progesterone. Why does ladies eating it for? Right? Can't do that. Right? You take it, your body quits making it, no matter what form. But you can do things like that to help strengthen. But detox is essential because the lymph system is why their problems are. If it hadn't been for stagnant lymph systems, you would have seen 10 times the number of deaths. So this one group has it about 20 million deaths so far. I think, and they only looked at a few countries. So when they look at the broad range globe, you're going to see hundreds of millions of deaths already by the COVID vaccine. Now, if there's 100 million deaths, how many injuries do you think? Billion? 2, 3 billion? Yeah, they convinced every country to fully vaccinate. I heard Portugal vaccinated everybody in there. Really? You just killed everybody in Portugal at one time or another, and you made your babies warped. I mean, this is the kind of sickness that these leaders, that our leaders, our representatives of the humans, are doing to us. So the next time you elect somebody, make sure you understand who they are, what their belief systems are, and they're not world orderlists. Because in time you're going to get a globalist, you're going to see the destruction of your life. That's their whole gig. Don't believe me? Look it up. Look at the world order. Most of you already know about it anyway. Love you loads too, honey. So you got it. These poor ladies, we got to fix them. And you've got to detox them. And the sad thing is, if they're pregnant, you got to go slow. Because excuse me, if the babies are involved and they're weakened, they could lose them. You remember, nature gets rid of its weaknesses, and that includes the fetus. If nature feels that you got to trust nature. If you don't trust nature and the supreme creator of everything, who do you trust? The allopathic community? Right! They don't even know their first. They can't even get out of the bag they put themselves in. There are a few very good medical doctors out there. Surgeons, I'm not talking about surgeons. I'm not talking about ER docs, although they need some help. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the treatment and the realization of diseases. The oncologists, you guys are in a bad field, and to me, you're in line for some serious, stuff coming up. You can't, in any way, shape, or form, convince anybody with any brains why you can put a 1.5 to 2 pH in someone's blood system. Who are you going to convince that has any brain that you're doing the right thing for the population? I'm hard on it, and I'm getting harder as I get older because the slaughtering of humans is all over the place. and just doesn't want to stop. So I don't know. Oh, this is Krista. Hey, Krista, 30-year-old female. Uh-oh. Krista, you're only 5 foot at 30 years old. You know what I'm going to tell you, right? Pituitary. Let's see. Skin. Thank God the skin is one of the easiest things to clean up. Dr. Morse, can people heal skin issues by focusing on elimination from the skin alone? Sinus. Well, you'll sure help yourself a lot, but you really need to open up the kidney flow. Let's be reasonable. Those are your main players. When your skin has to take up the burden, that's rough on the skin, right? It's already tried to make up the burden. This is why you see all that you see on skin with psoriasis and all this stuff. That's all acids. But then you'll find a connecting link to the thyroid, right? And low basals temperatures under your arm, right? But now with you 5 foot, I'm going, and you're only 5 foot, so I know what I'm going to find. I'm going to grab your pituitary and go, hey, honey, we got to fix this. Well, the pituitary is up in the brain. That's not good. So now we got to detox the head area. But wait a minute, the head sits on top of your gastrointestinal area. So you've got to clean all of this. You got to get it all opened up. So when you have glaucomic pressure and pressure, that's different than blood pressure, right? We know we're on a lymphatic pressure. But the lymphatic system's like the blood system. It's a fluid-based system. And once you open and pull the cork, well, the cork is hydration and kidney filtration. And of course, your body has to have enough temperature to be able to sweat. So I like a 98 basal temperature. And you've got a pituitary, so you can't just work on your thyroid. And I might add, you really want to look, you're only 30, sweetie. You really want to look at your parathyroids too, because that's your bones, that's depression, that's your connective tissue, that's how the tones of the breasts, tones of your skin. You know, you want to be a toned woman. And to get that, you want to make sure your endocrinology is working, and you're only 5 foot. Sauna, excellent. Hot and cold washcloths for face. Yeah, that's what I did. I had bad rosacea. But we were milk drinkers. So, yeah. Dry skin brushing, yeah, all those things. Yep, etc. Or is it an absolute must to get the kidneys back online and filtering? You can clear up your skin conditions a little bit by sweating. I've seen that. But I think your deeper issues like psoriasis or not, you really need to get your kidneys opened up, because it's also interconnected, and you got to open that doorway anyway. And you want to do that. But I think your skin will, people that go on these programs, their skin goes kind of like this for a few months. Because most people that have had acne, psoriasis, whatever, they've been given either prednisone or some type of anti-inflammatory that's very toxic. Well, all anti-inflammatories are going to shut down your adrenal glands. The very glands you don't want to shut down, and the very glands that are already down, because you can't have skin problems without having kidney and adrenal problems. Well, how is that possible? And my skin is, but remember the lymphatic system. Touches everything. Every cell in your body has to remove waste from it. Whether it's connected to other cells and there's a pathway, there has to always be a pathway to eliminate waste. Because the retention of a corrosive acid gives you nothing but corrosiveness. That's what that does. But how the medical doctor got fixated all on this alkalotic state, the whole human body is not in an alkalotic state. You can find areas of it, but like I said before, those are areas that are very easy to clean up. It's this strong acidic issue that's a problem. You said it's lymphatic issues in previous videos, but does one need to be 100% fruits to clear this? I think you can do it with fruits and vegetables. Try it and see. You can try it and see if you do fruits and green drinks or fruits and vegetables and see if you can clear your skin up with that. I think you'll clear most of it up, I think. But again, you still want to focus on, you're only 5 foot. You want to focus on this parathyroid. I'm telling you, when you get older, you're going to wish that you did it right then. Lots of avocados and vegetables be okay? I don't know. Try it. Let us know. I'm more of a fruit thinker when I'm looking at detox. But raw foods, You know, a raw food diet is a good detox. It'll definitely take you down the road a good ways, but you'll reach a plateau. And that's okay with me because it's a good plateau. And then you go, oh, you know what? I need to go deeper. I'll take the vegetables off and I'll go into just fruit. And then you'll see the pedals start going deeper. I mean, I've experienced this all the time. I'm sure many of you have. It's just a natural phenomenon. It shows you the less electricity and the less chemistry that a vegetable has to detox you. But it's enough to keep the herbivores clean and everything, you know. Perfect for that. But I've never seen a herbivore turn down a fruit, berry, or melon. That includes elephants. What about some cooked veggies? Now you're pulling yourself in the realm of, okay, now I mean, just half-ass it and see if I'm going to clear my skin up. Nope. Cooked vegetables here and there. Here and there, honey. But, you know, you keep adding the cooked and the more negative, the less you're going to have success, you know. My lymph system is a mess, but I have good genes. Yeah. All right. Light brown eyes by nature, and but because of lymph stagnation, they appear medium to dark brown. Well, if you've got good genes and Tribeca looks good, kick butt. Why not? I mean, you can achieve female power. These are old photos from 2016, so I'm sure some things have changed, but haven't been able to take new ones yet. A lot of it, not all my issues seem to be coming from my head area. See, a lot, if not all of my issues seem to come from my head area. You're 5 foot. That means your pituitary is down. Well, does your pituitary just decide that it's not going to function like it should out of no reason? No. So what influenced the functionability of tissue? Well, number one, the types of food you're eating, true. The electrical side of ATP and all of this, AMP, ADP. The electrical side of life is a big issue for the human body. It's a big issue for everything. And we've kind of cut the electrical side of life out. So now we're looking, now our food went from, yeah, to, oh, okay, all right. So that's getting electrical out. Now what we've done when we process, we've taken all the B-vine, all the chemistry that's bonded just perfectly to give you the form, to give you the taste, to give you the flavor, to give you the power. And we're going to cook it and cut it all out, or we're going to process it. So what I've done now is I've taken a lot of the bonds of chemistry, broke them apart, where rebonds can come in, like proteins and lipids and things like this can rebond, and now you get more solidification, more of an acidic mix. How is that better? Medical doctors, you tell me, because it seems like medical doctors don't believe in raw foods. Really? I know a lot of medical doctors that are natural hygienists. Maybe it's just a few, right? You ready? Okay. Right eye. You can really see the outline of the bowel wall. See that outline of the bowel wall? That's perfect. Now, you see this slicing down? I don't know if you can see this or not. This part of the bowel is prolapsed down toward the pupil. That's a prolapsing. So that's connective tissue. So that I'm going to be looking at that. She's right. She has pretty good genes here. She's got these nerve rings, though, and that's where I'm going to find this chronic adrenal gland right there. Is her chronic adrenal gland, right side. Let's go to the left side. Oh, left side. More. Look at all these nerve rings. She's right, though. Her true color is this light brown. She's got a lot of lymph here. Now, let's look down here. All right. So Jensen would call this the adrenals and the kidneys, even though, because right under 6 o'clock is her femur. So this is her left femur down to her knee, and her femur is in a state of chronic and somewhat deteriorating. The hip area is pretty involved lymphatically, but don't see any really deterioration there. Going up to the right hip, though, looky there. A little bit of the femur. Kidneys, just lymphatically involved here. This one is a little more involved. Left kidney seems to be the more involved one. Oh, do we see pituitary? Heck yes, right here's pituitary. Big time right here. Let's see up here. Not so bad. So we might have a good case here to work on. So, yeah, when I get there, honey, your right throat has a weakness in it, a genetic weakness in the throat. I don't think that's axis. I think that's throat. So you're going to have a sore throat if you haven't had it already. Looking at the parathyroid area, some genetics in the right parathyroid gland for sure. Thyroid fairly good. A lot of lymph stagnation in the right parathyroids. Looking at the left parathyroids, there is a weakness there, but I think you can pull the left ones out pretty good from this. I really do. Now, what struck me here? Well, I haven't marked this off yet to see you, but it looks like you have some pancreatic or gallbladder. Either way, you just want to clean all this out. Some bronchial trunk up here, clean all the lungs out. You look pretty good, sweetheart. Skin is you got a skin ring, and you have weaknesses all around the skin. If you look at this skin ring, you'll see some darknesses around here. Oh, where am I going? Right there. Right there. I'm backwards, so it's hard. Okay. So, yeah, you should kick butt. Yeah, and your pituitary weakness is not that bad, although I probably call this pituitary. Right eye. You can't hardly see it from the camera. It's real dark up in here. But that's why she's saying everything's in her head. Now, remember I call things the violet hue in iridology, you students? Look at the violet hue around this eye. Look at this violet hue. Now, some of this is camera. No question, you got to look up in there. So I'm curious to how much she has any violet hue as a 30-year-old. A violet hue is when the blood is starting to become poorly circulating around the body, poor circulation. Oh, get this. A lot, if not all, of my issues seem to be coming from the head area. I'm short, vitiligo. Oh, this lady's smart. Krista, you guys, I am so proud of you guys. There's a new breed coming to this planet, and it's going to mow over all the darkness and the ignorance, and that's you guys. Look at this. She already knows. She's short. She knows she's got head problems, vitiligo, rosacea, neck pain, TMJ. Hell yeah, honey. You nailed it right on. I love that. Now, TMJ, all this stuff, where are we going? Parathyroid and pituitary. Work on those two, sweetie. And you got good genes. Get that lymph moving. Get those kidneys filtering. You got some prolapsing. Not real bad, but there is some prolapsing of the transverse. And perhaps a little of the sigmoid. But all in all, not bad. But you can see why the skin problems. Now, vitiligo. All of this, pituitary, rosacea, lymph, neck pain, lymph, TMJ, parathyroid, hair thinning, lymph. Very little amount of hair when I was first born compared to my siblings. See, and I know people laugh at me, but I always look at your babies and say how much hair is on their head. Because you get a baby that's born bald, why? See what I'm saying? Some of these kids are born with full heads of hair. Those are ones that never get dementia, seem to always be sharp, live long lives. Sometimes I have swollen lymph nodes right under my earlobes. You're right on, sweetie. Head. But head sits on top of bowels, so you got to work and clean up your GI tract. But all that sits on top of kidneys. I mean, this is all lymphatically governed here. Sometimes my eyelids get swollen when I first wake up. Yeah, it's all acidosis. Sinus issues with a deviated septum. Yeah, all you have to do is crack it with a hammer. I can reset it for you. And we'll be good. I won't even charge you. That's all they do. Of course, they might put you under before they crack it. But parathyroid is hitting you in a lot of places, like the deviated septum and TMJ and things like this. So it probably in a genetic lineage there of what your mom and your dad like in that way. But sinus, again, got to drain the sinuses. And the only way to drain the sinuses is, again, fruit and hydration and stuff. Vegetables are lousy sinus drainers. Remember, glucose down, fructose up. And sometimes, okay. Sinus issues with the deviated symptom, dizziness and headaches. Nah. Well, all right, this is right side, back of the neck. I'm up at the cerebellum, left ear, mastoid, left side. Same thing, right in this area right here. And see how it's the more darker area as you leave this now, it's getting lighter. So you're right, sweetie, your head is like, and there comes the glaucomic pressure, there comes all the crap you don't want. So again, open it up down here, open up the kidneys, open up the GI tract matrix, open up all this, and this will go, and you'll be good. I gotta go say hi to one of Jessica's patients here. I'm worried because all my issues are within my head region, and I feel as though I'm going to be waiting forever to clear them since you've said the head area takes the longest to drain. You got to fix down below. Now, with that said, get on fruits and start blowing it out because it'll start blowing your sinuses out and everything else. So don't give that a thought. Just keep going, babe. Don't give that a thought. Don't listen to me. I'm worried because all my issues are... Okay. I never get sick since going vegan. See, that's the... You need to get sick. Go around a bunch of sick people somewhere and see if you can catch something. And that's even hard to do. When you'll see what I'm talking about. But you need to have a healing crisis. You need to have a good cold or flu-like symptom out of the head to break loose. You could be so agglomerated, it's hard to get one. That's why fruit only is really the key to detox. Because some people get so agglomerated, you get frozen. You feel it, you know it, you get locked. And that ain't good. The only way to get rid of locked, we call it agglomerated, the only way to get rid of that is hydration. Because it's an acid experience. It's not an alkaline experience. It's an acid experience. And the proof is once you go on these fruits, which are alkaline, you don't go into alkalosis, you go into elimination. You go into detoxification. Nature's way. It's nature's way. But when you get yourself cleaned up even a lot more, you can't catch nothing. It's hard to have healing crisis sometimes, it's like that because you've done so good. Plus herbs, I never have a healing crisis. I did 5 months on just green grapes and herbs only 11 years ago and nothing happened. No healing crisis, nothing. I just lose a lot of weight, probably from malabsorption. Yeah, but you just keep going. Keep going, keep hydrating, keep going. You haven't got a clean body, keep going. It don't matter. That was 11 years ago. Can you please read my eyes and tell me what you see and also explain why I don't have any detox symptoms? Well, I don't know. You could be too agglomerated in the head area too. Did you get any filtration or anything like that? You didn't see any stuff coming out of your bowels or anything? I'd have to look at that and see what you detoxed with and all that sort of thing, But you said fruits and grapes, so all that would be important. But when you have, and there's some people that just doesn't want to have healing crisis. So as long as your eyes are changing, that's all that matters. And so watch that. Take about every 6 months, take a picture of your eye and take a look at it. That's an old picture, take a new picture and see what you've done. Because your eyes will clear if you're in there and you're getting work done. You're hydrating and moving lymph. Your eyes will show that. Matter of fact, even lacunas in the tissues showing you tissue or cellular genetics, you'll start to see those go away. It's amazing. But it's the God way. It's the naturopathic way. Love you guys. Take care of yourselves. And honey, just keep digging in. Just keep digging in, keep digging in, keep digging in. If you have to, do a water fast. Or if you have to try a 24-hour dry fast overnight and just see if that'll shake anything loose. But keep working on these things, guys, because these are the natural foods of man anyway, and if you can get a good balance where you're 90%, 80% raw, but you want to think about 100% fruit, berries, and melons for at least a few months to get what you need done. Some of you might take 6 months, some of you might take a year, some might take 2 or 3 years. You got some very advanced cases in this world, and you just can't worry about it. That's why you have to teach your practitioner or your people you're working on. Same thing I'm teaching you. Live in the now. Relax. You'll get it. You're not going to die, and just keep working that way and keep working your clients that way. Give them support. Give them love. Let them know we're all watching your case. You know, you're not alone. And we just keep working it. Yeah, some people have to do this a little bit. I agree. Doesn't seem like there's a perfection to detox. There's a certain detox that fits all gloves or all people. So, but you have to work in and out of the raw, because that's life. There's no animal that cooks their food before they eat it. That raw is life. And if you're going to eat dead animals, eat them raw. But raw is life. So fruits, berries, melons, raw, salads, raw, of course, all of that. If you can't eat it raw, don't eat it. Now, I say that, and at my age, I'm having some cooked vegetables and stuff like that. If I need the fruit diet, you'll see me go whoop. Our problem down here, I haven't had watermelon this year. Well, a couple sliced pieces out of Publix. But it's so bad, we don't even have good watermelon. We don't have good anything, hardly. I'm getting some grapes that are fairly sweet. Mangoes, we got a few of those. But I'm basically bananas. That's horrible. I don't even have oranges. I try to get great organic oranges. Forget that. So then any navel that's sweet, forget that. So it's just sad. But we're entering the navel time here. This is the end of October, November. Navels start coming. We've had cooler weather, so I'm hoping this year we'll have some crops of navel. I'm just going to buy them by the bushel basket. I'm going to go on a major navel orange fast. I've been craving that. So I love you, and thanks for listening to us. Sorry about YouTube. We tried to maintain it, but somebody else was putting up videos on it, which sparked them to go, nope. And so we lost it. It wasn't our fault. We worked hard to keep it. But again, you're talking about a social media platform that's totally gone evil. And I say evil, but negative, whatever you want to call it. They decided that they know what's best for everybody, and they decided to be controlled by the Illuminati. So that's what you get, medical misinformation. We're not giving you any medical information. Sorry, YouTube. We don't give out medical advice or medical information. We show you the fallacy of the medical community of itself. And anyone involved in this, even on all these platforms, need to learn this. Because every single human out there has problems. Every single one of them. And they're going to always get worse, worse, and worse. And they're going to someday have to find someone like you or me or die at the hands of allopathy. That's the way it is. Love you guys. Take care. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think about that 4.5-hour video. I think I was kind of getting like this after a while, but still, and I'll do more. I'm saving more eyes, and we'll be looking at it a little differently. The genetics in that area, family genetics. I'm trying to save eyes from 3 generations. So I'm trying to take a look and show you how the genetic moves, stuff like that, because you have 2 family influences. So quite a bit of influences, but mom, for sure, is a big, huge donor, and particularly the lymphatic system. So when you see your lymphatic system a mess, mama, it's a mess. So we need to fix mama too. Need to fix all the mamas. I love mamas.